Greetings, Mr. Slope Guy here. Today we're going to talk about angle relationships with equations. And we have all types of angles that get formed when we have lines that cross. And some very common ones we have are complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles. And we're going to use facts about those to write equations. So quick review, I believe everybody is familiar with complementary angles are two angles whose measures add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are two angles whose measures add up to 180. Together they make a straight line, they add up to 180 degrees. And we have vertical angles, and vertical angles are the ones that cross from each other like 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. And vertical angles are always equal to each other, or we call that congruent. Congruent would mean same in size and shape, or congruent, same measure. So the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 3 would be equal, and 2 and 4 would be equal because vertical angles are equal in measure. So we're going to use those facts to set up and solve equations. So this diagram we have 2x for one angle and x for the other, and it makes a complementary angle. We see that little 90-degree box. We know that the relationship between these two angles is they are complementary angles. Angles are complementary, so their sum is 90 degrees, and that's where we can get our equation from. Our equation can come from the fact that two complementary angles add up to 90, so I can take 2x plus x and equal 90. So since the two angles together add up to 90, then we can just solve for x. Combine like terms, divide both sides by 3, and I get x is 30. So that is the solving the equation part. And now that we have the equation solved, we can go back and actually find measurements for those two angles. So if x is 30, well, this angle that just says x, that is going to be 30. So the two measures, the two angles, this one is 30. And then to find the other measure, we have 2 times x. Well, we can substitute in our 30 for x and get 2 times 30 is 60. So the missing angles are 60 and 30, and together they add up to 90, which makes sense for complementary. What's the relationship between these two angles? Well, together these two angles form a straight line. We have a special word for angles that form a straight line. It is called supplementary. And supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So this angle x plus 30 plus this angle 2x together add up to 180. They're supplementary angles, so that's where our equation is going to come from. Our equation is just going to be this angle plus this angle equals 180. So I got 2x plus 30 equals 180. So on the other one we had, they added up to 90 because they were complementary. This one, the two angles together are supplementary. So supplementary, that make a straight line. Notice our equation now equals 180. We can combine like terms, subtract 30 from each side, divide by 3, and I get x is 50. So if x is 50, I can go back now that I have solved the equation part of x equals 50. I'm not quite done yet. Now I can go back and figure out the actual angles. What are the angle measures of the two angles? I can do 2 times x. Well, x is 50, so 2 times 50 is 100. So this angle is 100. I can also take x equals 50, go over to the other angle, replace this x with 50, so x plus 30, replace x with 50, and I get 80. So my two angles are 100 and 80, and notice how together 100 plus 80 is 180. That meets our requirement for being a supplementary angle. What is the relationship between these two angles? Are they complementary? Are they supplementary? No, they're neither complementary nor supplementary. They are vertical. They're right across from each other. So what do we know about vertical angles? Well, vertical angles are equal. So that's where our equation is going to come from, is the fact that these two are vertical, and we know vertical angles are equal. So we can set them equal to each other. So 4x plus 30 will equal 5x. And then now we just have to solve for x. So in this case, I have x on both sides. First thing I want to do is get all those x's to one side. And I'm going to do that by subtracting 4x on the left, subtract 4x on the right. On the left side, after I subtract 4x, I'm left with 30. And on the right side, I'm left with x. Well, that worked out great. Now I have all the x's to one side, and it's done. So x is 30. So if x is 30, I can now say, what are the measures of the two angles? I can go back to my original relationships, my 5x and my 4x plus 30. Now that I know x is 30, I can do 5x, replace x with 30. 5 times 30 is 150. Then the other one I have, 4x plus 30, replace x with 30. I have 4 times 30 plus 30. I get 150 as well. So notice how both my vertical angles, they both came out to be equal in measure. They are both 150 degrees. All right, so now it's your turn. You guys pause the video here. See if you can figure out the relationship between the two angles. You're going to write an equation. You're going to solve for x, and then find the measure of both angles and restart the video. All right, welcome back. The relationship between these two angles is they are vertical to each other. We have two lines that cross, and they are straight across from each other. So I know the relationship with vertical angles is vertical angles are equal. They are congruent. So that's where my equation will come from. I will get 2x plus 5 equals 3x minus 33. Then to solve, I want to get all my variables to one side. I can subtract 2x on the left side, subtract 2x on the right side. On the right side, I'm left with 5. On the left side, 3x minus 2x is x. Bring down the minus 33. Add 33 to each side, and x is 38. Now that I have x is 38, I have the equation part solved, but I want to go back and I want to figure out my two angles. I have the two relationships of 2x plus 5 and 3x minus 33. I can now just go back, substitute 38 in for x on each of those. So I could do 2x plus 5, put 38 in. I get 81. Put 3x minus 33, put in 38 for x, and I get 81 as well. Notice how our vertical angles ended up equal to each other, 81 and 81. Hopefully you guys got that too. All right, you guys try this one, last one. Try this one on your own. Pause the video here, write the equation, solve for x, find the measure of both angles. All right, welcome back. We have supplementary angles. Supplementary angles add up to 180. So I have 2x plus 4x plus 150 equals 180. Combine like terms. Subtract 50 from each side, divide by 6. X is 5. Substitute in for both my expressions. I get one measure is 10 degrees, and the other is 170. Have a great day. OUT spells out.